Okay, well, we're recording. I was waiting to hear the voice. You are recording. Okay.
Oh, you
Hi.
hear it. Oh, didn't
No,
say.
didn't hear it. That's
Oh,
okay. Recording. Hey
so
guys.
hi,
Wel-
guys.
Welcome back. We're on live. Um, we wanted to take a minute. We're really enjoying the YouTube channel that we've launched, the way that you're all viewing these workbook lessons. Most important to us is the feedback that we've been receiving. We're really enjoying the comments. We've received some feedback from family members in the Take Me to Truth family, and it seems as though everybody's, for the most part, really enjoying the workbook lessons and getting a lot out of them. So we love the feedback and want to thank you for that, and thank you for the comments on the YouTube pages for each recording. We are One of the feedback that we received, which was so helpful, was that somebody asked, how do I get this gap diagram that you guys keep referring to? So we want you to know that we're putting two links on the YouTube page that can be found below the actual video recording. And Nouk has informed me that if you're on a desktop, underneath the video recording or the link itself, you will find it'll say show more. And when you click on that, you'll have access to the links that we're going to post. If you're on a smartphone or a tablet device, it'll say description underneath the video, and that's where you'll find the supplemental material that we'll provide. So you'll find those links. The first link takes you directly to the gap diagram off of our website. You won't have to look around for it. It'll take you right to it and you can print it out. It's actually a 4-part series to the gap diagram. It'll make sense when you find it, but it just takes you step by step through it because there's so much material in the gap diagram, as you know, and actually showed you how to fold it and then gives you the copy that you can print out and fold and keep for yourself. The other link is for, we're giving out the link to all of our supplemental materials that's included in the Manual for Holy Relationship. That's Nouk's new book. It's a pretty big manual and it's chock full. Show them the width of that sucker. There you go. I mean, this manual is so heavily supported with exercises and diagrams. And so we have provided a zip file on our website that's got all of the supplemental materials for you all to freely download. So if you want to get it in. Go ahead, sis.
And just to confuse you even more, forgive us. It's also got the 3 resources from this book, which is the first volume of the End of Death trilogy. And there's some, the iceberg diagram we referred to earlier, that's in there, as well as a few other diagrams that, we're going to refer to support the lessons from A Course in Miracles. And you'll be able to download these diagrams for free on the website. So we're giving you, I think we're going to include the links. You'll be able to find them there anyway. Okay. So that's the first volume. And this is the second volume. Yeah. Which one? So that's
there it is.
The Holy Relationship, which is basically the backbone of Course in Miracles. And the third book is in process. So I can't.
I thought you were going to grab for one. I'm like, oh, we're going to a sneak preview.
That would be a surprise.
Yeah. Well, thanks, sis. So yes, we just want to make sure that you have as much material as you are looking for and interested in receiving. If you haven't been on our new website, nouksanchez.com, take a look. It'll have the courses that we're offering. And again, all this free material on there and a way to order the book as well. So, all right. Oh, and another wonderful feedback from a brother was that after we've finished a lesson, I'm going to practice the pause. So just to stop in for a moment of silence and just to check in with Holy Spirit, see if there's anything else that we want to include. It could be just a moment of reverence and taking in what we've shared, but I'm just, if it comes across that I'm racing, I want to apologize up front, and I really want to honor and create a cocoon, for each lesson. each one is so powerful and such a gift that I want to honor it by not racing through it. So
Yeah, that's beautiful, sis. Thank you for including that. Same for me. I need to know that as well. There, because, as Jesus says, where two or more are gathered, my name, there I am.
yes.
The Christ mind is restored. And when the Christ mind is restored in these instances, and for example, Coreen, you and I joining to share these lessons for Course in Miracles, I noticed every now and again, often actually, that I can feel the Christ mind really opening up and the heart is opening up.
Right.
And there are divine transmissions that are coming through. So we can't afford to rush through those because they're for everyone. Yeah. So
Right.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, having said that, let's rush on into the introduction.
Okay, so we're in the review period.
Yes.
Where we're going to be beginning the review period. We're actually going to review all 50 lessons that we've done up till now.
That's right.
And,
so there's an introduction portion, and then in the same video, we're going to cover the introduction and also lesson 51. So Nouk's going to read the intro and I'll cover off the lesson, and we'll see what Spirit has to say or do with these as well.
Good.
Thank you.
Review number 1, introduction. Beginning with today, we will have a series of review periods. Each of them will cover 5 of the ideas already presented, starting with the first and ending with the 50th. There will be a few short comments after each of the ideas, which you should consider in your review. In the practice periods, the exercises should be done as follows. Begin the day by reading the 5 ideas, with the comments included. Thereafter, it is not necessary to follow any particular order in considering them, though each one should be practiced at least once. Devote 2 minutes or more to each practice period, thinking about the idea and the related comments after reading them over. Do this as often as possible during the day. If any one of the 5 ideas appeals to you more than the others, concentrate on that one. At the end of the day, however, be sure to review all of them once more. So he's talking about all 5 ideas before you go to sleep at night, to review all of them. It's not necessary to cover the comments that follow each idea, either literally or thoroughly in the practice periods. Try rather to emphasize the central point and think about it as part of your review of the idea to which it relates. After you have read the idea and the related comments, the exercises should be done with your eyes closed. And when you're alone in a quiet place, if possible. This is emphasized for practice periods at your stage of learning. It will be necessary, however, that you learn to require no special settings in which to apply what you have learnt. You will need your learning most in situations that appear to be upsetting, rather than in those that already seem to be calm and quiet. The purpose of your learning, I love this, the purpose of your learning is to enable you to bring the quiet with you and to heal distress and turmoil. This is not done by avoiding them and seeking a haven of isolation for yourself. Wow. Isn't this incredible?
Yes.
Because, this is obviously, and this is something that I've learnt and Coreen has learnt at our particular phase of learning, that the peace of God goes everywhere we go. So we're actually able to impart it or share it and hold it, for others who may be really believing the turmoil that they're experiencing. Yeah. Okay, so we're up to paragraph 5. Yeah.
Yeah. You will learn. You will yet
Yeah.
learn.
You will yet learn that peace is part of you and requires only that you be there to embrace any situation in which you are. And finally, you will learn that there is no limit to where you are, so that your peace is everywhere as you are. Oh, what a relief. Oh, what a relief. Oh,
Ties into no hierarchy of illusions, right? If I am the peace of God, no matter where I am, right?
and then as you're experiencing too, sis, and I'm sure some of our beautiful YouTube family are experiencing, is as we recognize that there's no hierarchy of illusions, that it's all illusion. There's no illusion that has more reality in it than any other. That is when the peace of God really is anchored, grounded in us. And that's when we really recognize and therefore can practice the number one miracle principle that Jesus teaches, which is there is no order of difficulty in miracles. There can't be, because there's no hierarchy of illusions. There's not one that's true. Right.
And I think that's why Jesus in the practice periods, I had a question when I started this. What is this about? Open your eyes, then close your eyes, then say it over here. Well, don't be too particular. Just be general about it. All right, I'm going to try. But what is all that for? It is so that that ties directly into there's no hierarchy of illusions. There's no outer world. There's no inner world. There's no valuing one image over another. They all have equal value. So he's right out of the gate, he's training our mind to recognize that everything is the same. Yeah.
I think he uses the term generalize.
Yes.
Everything is generalized as we advance in our trust from fear to love, right?
Yeah.
It gets generalized. It's so wonderful. It's so much more peaceful, isn't it?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. There's no spike of fear when you recognize it's all the same and it's all nothing.
Only the truth is true.
That's right.
And nothing else is true. Okay. So paragraph 6, the last paragraph of the of the introduction, is you will note that for review purposes, some of the ideas are not given in quite their original form. I love this. I get so excited to do reviews because it seems to open up a whole other part of the mind, and allows the transmissions to come in and then anchor themselves. So he's saying that they're not given in quite their original form. Use them as they are given here in the reviews. It is not necessary to return to the original statements, nor to apply the ideas as was suggested then. We are now emphasizing the relationships among the first 50 of the ideas we have covered and the cohesiveness of the thought system to which they are leading you. Right?
Really dawning. Nothing he does was mistake. It's like every word, every phrase, every lesson that Jesus painstakingly, patiently, with perfect love delivers step by step. There's a reason behind everything. And even if we don't understand it, we can trust. I mean, if you look at this, what he gave us, and you read it, and that no human hand, there was a scribe, thank you, Helen, but that it's divinely authorized. And I'm having a moment of just profound gratitude to see the depth and the holographic nature of it. And that the fact that he's now saying, don't go back to the original ones. I'm going to give them to you again. I'm going to be lumping them together. And it's going to be a little bit, it's a little bit different. Well, there's a profound reason for that, and we can trust it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, here we go. Lesson 51. The review for today includes the following ideas. 1, nothing I see means anything. The reason this is so is that I see nothing, and nothing has no meaning. It is necessary that I recognize this, that I may learn to see. What I think I see now is taking the place of sight. I must let it go, what I think I see, by realizing that it has no meaning, so that vision may take its place.
Okay, so sis, can we have a different word here. I've got the FIP version. You have the COA version.
Mm-hmm.
And so line number 4 says, what I think I see now is taking the place of vision.
Mm-hmm.
Yours says sight.
Uh-huh. In the next sentence, it says vision. I don't know why that would be different.
Yeah,
but
I think that's, yeah. And I think that the editing here is appropriate in the FIP version, because through my own receiving transmissions for the End of Death trilogy with Jesus, he clarifies to me that there's a very there's a huge difference between what we call sight,
mm-hmm.
through the body's eyes, and Christ vision, which is our true vision. Yeah. And that the undoing of the blocks to the awareness of love's presence is the undoing of the ego or the split mind. That is the undoing of our trusting the body's 5 senses to see or to feel, right? So it's the undoing of the ego thought system. So it is the undoing of sight in order to reveal Christ vision, which is which is the only vision we really do have. Yeah.
Right.
So I just want to clarify that. Yeah.
So while we're insisting that we know what something is, we're going to be using the body's eyes, and we're going to be claiming that I see, that's sight, and that I know what it is. And Jesus is saying, you guys, what you think you're looking at is absolutely nothing, because you're looking with the ego, which doesn't know what anything is. So we've got to be willing to surrender what we think we see, and instead receive the replacement from the Holy Spirit of vision, that there is something there to see. But you can't see, you cannot have vision while you are clutching to your insistence that you do see. So there's a big humility in this of letting go, that I don't, well, we're going to get to that. I don't know what anything is for. Nothing I see means anything. That's a statement of surrender. Nothing I see means anything.
Yeah, because we're seeing through the split mind, which is the ego block, or filter. It's filter. Remembering, of course, that one of the central teachings of the Course is that projection
makes perception.
Right?
Yes.
Makes perception. So everything we see at first here in the world is through the ego. The ego is projecting it out there. It's not real. It's meaningless. And it's based on attack. It's based on the ego's addiction to attack. So we see attack. We see attack in relationships, conflict. We see it in the body as pain and disease, aging and death. We see it, everywhere. And we're seeing an illusion.
Mhm.
None of it exists in God, and therefore it doesn't exist in his son.
Mhm.
And
Sorry,
we are
only
his
seeing images
son,
of fear.
his
Yeah,
child. Yeah,
thank you.
yeah,
Great news to know that all of that chaos and images of fear is nothing.
yeah, yeah. See, Holy Spirit can come in and exchange our perception for the miracle
Right.
when we're prepared to make that positive separation,
That's it.
right? And
Right. Am I willing to admit that nothing I see means anything? That's a act of humility and surrender and opening up to be curious about maybe there's something else to see or to view, have Christ vision. Nothing I see means anything. Okay, that was one. Two, I, the ego, have given what I see all the meaning it has for me. I have judged everything I look upon, and it is this and only this that I see. This is not vision. It is merely an illusion of reality because my judgments have been made quite apart from reality. Here we go. I am willing to recognize the lack of validity in my judgments because I want to see or have vision. My judgments have hurt me, and I do not want to see according to them.
there's a statement of allegiance right there. We're giving Holy Spirit permission to heal our perception right there. It's beautiful.
And the admission that what we do see as an illusion is the precursor to our wanting to allow that replacement to occur.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. So nothing I see means anything. And I, the mythical me, have given everything that I see all the meaning that it has for me in my righteous judgment and my knowledge.
Based on
I
the
have
past.
decided what all of this is for. Yeah.
And that's based on the ego's past.
Totally. Yeah, that's a big one. Again, you and I discussed in one of the early lessons, what would it be like to just be dropped onto the earth without any past? You just stand in awe, like you wouldn't know what anything is for. And you'd be in awe and wonder and maybe shock and terror. I don't know. But I mean, really, the past is the only context we have for anything that we're seeing. And there is no past. There is no time, which we come to learn. Okay, sorry. Yep. 3, I do not understand anything I see. How could I understand what I see when I have judged it amiss? What I see is the projection of my own errors of thought. I do not understand what I see because it is not understandable. There is no sense in trying to understand it. But there is every reason to let it go, to make room for what can be seen and understood and loved. I can exchange what I see now for this merely by being willing to do so.
That's
Is not there? Yes, that's the act of allegiance, right? You were mentioning.
Yeah.
Is not this a better choice than the one I made before? That's a big sentence. I do not understand what I see because it is not understandable, and there's no sense in trying to understand it. To make logic where in what's not logical, to
That's
make
it.
sane out of insanity.
Yeah, and the minute we fall down that rabbit hole again, that dark rabbit hole of believing what we're seeing,
Mhm.
and we think we understand it, particularly when we're triggered and there's a problem, whatever it might look like at the form level.
Right.
As soon as we go into that, we try and understand it. Then we try and problem solve it.
Yes. Yes.
Right? But like what we say, and I remember I did this a lot. I think everybody does. It's just say, okay, butt out, Holy Spirit.
Mhm.
I've got this. I need to solve it, and then I'll get back to you later when it's
Right.
all solved. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what the ego does.
Mhm.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, the spiritual ego goes, well, I'm willing to admit this is an illusion. Now, what am I going to do about this illusion? It's going to still be part of the solution process. But if it's all meaningless, if it cannot be understood, then any steps that we take to do anything apart from Holy Spirit, nothing real is going on.
Nothing.
You know, it's like walking into a dark room
Yeah.
and swinging a sword randomly. It's like nothing real is going on. Yeah, any decisions, any doing apart. When with the light out, how can we know what we're doing? It's just complete insanity. I can exchange what I see now for this merely by being willing to do so. He's asking just for the willingness. How kind. Okay. 4. These thoughts do not mean anything. The thoughts of which I am aware do not mean anything because I am trying to think without God. What I call my thoughts are not my real thoughts. My real thoughts are the thoughts I think with God. That is so important.
Oh, yeah.
Only God's thoughts about us can be our thoughts since we share the mind of God. If it's not a loving thought, if it's not a true and a good thought, it's not even a thought. It's a counterfeit thought. We call it a thought, but it's a belief in the ego thought system trying to come across as a true thought. But if it's not from God, it's not even a real thought. I am not aware of them, my real thoughts, because I have made up my thoughts to take their place. I am willing to recognize that my thoughts do not mean anything and to let them go. I choose willingness to have them replaced by what they were intended to replace. Oh, I choose to have them replaced by what they were intended to replace. My thoughts are meaningless, but all creation lies in the thoughts I think with God. There's an incentive right there.
Wow.
God made us, with the ability to co-create with God, but only as we are letting God order our thoughts. And while I'm transplanting true thoughts for substitute false ones, nothing real is happening. Nothing means anything. Nothing's doing anything. And there's another level of humility, I remember when I saw that, releasing the thoughts that I think. And it brought up some sadness because the thoughts that I thought apart from God really fed this pseudo self. The more that I knew, the more love and seeming acceptance that I gained. The more that I knew, I felt safe from what, I'm making my decisions for myself. So to all of us who think that we are controlling and saving ourselves by the decisions that we make and the thoughts that we're thinking, anything apart from, sorry about that. I thought we locked the room.
We did.
It doesn't work on my end.
Oh,
I don't. Okay, never mind. No, that's not through Zoom.
sorry, everyone. We just had it. You
Just
don't think that was the Holy Spirit trying to come in?
I don't know. It was my mom. I don't think, maybe it is. But yeah, I'm just this allowing a deep surrender of the thoughts that I'm thinking independently from God. We place a lot of value on those. But when you recognize how this works, that we're really selecting false beliefs from an ego thought system and that they're not true thoughts. They don't originate from God, so they're not our thoughts. These are actually, the value that we place on them is the means that we block our communication with God, receiving God's thoughts. Not your thoughts, God, mine, not your truths, my substitutes for your truth, not your will, but my, imaginary will apart from yours. That's what we're valuing and worshiping while we refuse to allow God's thoughts to replace ours. But this is so beautiful, and to recognize that these aren't thoughts at all. Nothing real is happening, and it's all illusion. Do we want to live? Do we want to awaken? Then are we willing, just that willingness to say, I'm going to just withdraw my judgments and control and allow Holy Spirit to reveal to me my true thoughts. I think that was big for me.
That was really big. And there's another aspect too of this, is that we actually block Holy Spirit's guidance. Yes, of course, which is what you're trying to say. But we also block Holy Spirit's guidance through our brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you.
He'll reach through us, like we were talking about before. In any area where we give over our trust, he's willing to use that, and his voice and guidance can come to us in any way. But if we're not open to it, if we're so locked into this arrogance of the ego that I know best, we're really shunting ourselves off from love, from life. Okay. 5, I am never upset for the reason I think. There's another biggie. I am never upset for the reason I think, because I am constantly trying to justify my thoughts. I'm constantly trying to make them true. I make all things my enemies so that my anger is justified and my attacks are warranted. I have not realized how much I have misused everything I see by assigning its role to it. I have done this to defend a thought system which has hurt me, in which I no longer want. I am willing to let it go. Wow, there's just bringing light to this whole thing, and recognizing while we're, having thoughts, independent thoughts, that we're really hurting ourselves. It's never, anger just shunts us off from love. Self-justification prevents union and the holy instant from occurring. We're really just being willing to admit that this is that shield of fear of just, I'm not experiencing any reality while I hug the ego thought system close about me and use it as a shield. I'm really willing, that last sentence, I am willing to let it go. Are we willing to set down our swords and our shields, and just in true humility to come and say, I really don't know what anything is for, and I'm not going to superimpose my arrogant definitions, and I'm willing to be taught and shown.
It's beautiful. And I think to support this too is to remember that there's a central wish in the ego thought system, and that central wish is the wish to be unfairly treated, because the ego's what would you call the lifeblood to keep the ego thought system alive in the split mind is guilt, sin, guilt, and fear. The evil threesome, right? Sin, guilt, and fear.
Yes.
And so in order to give substance to those illusions, it has to be unfairly treated, and then it has to justify and feel totally justified in its anger, its resentments, its grievances, etc. Totally justified, because it's being unfairly treated by others, by the body, by, it's victimized. Yeah. So, when we're upset by that, this lesson says, I'm never upset for the reason I think, of course. It's the ego wanting its wish to be answered, which is to be unfairly treated. Does that make sense, sis?
Totally. And it's so complex, you have to kind of laugh at the maze, but once you see it, then it simplifies. But okay, so I'm guilty because I left God, because I think I'm Coreen. I don't really like that guilt. So I'm going to push it out and I'm going to project it onto my sis. And I'm going to see her in a way that God isn't created her to be, but I'm going to see her as judging me as incapable. And then I'm going to be relating to my sis and pick up things that she's saying. And I'm going to interpret it in a way that where I feel unfairly treated. Well, gosh, sis, I'm trying so hard. Look what I'm doing. And you're not appreciating what I'm doing. Oh, okay. So then I get to feel self-justified. Well, you know, Nouk just isn't really seeing, you know, she's busy. She doesn't get a chance to see what I'm doing. Why doesn't she care what I'm doing? Okay. Do you see that?
Mm.
My guilt from a false separation projected it out onto my sis. And then I get to defend myself through self-justification against this attack from my sis that's not even happening. We're doing it's a ping pong game here.
Where's the ultimate special relationship, right?
Oh my gosh, that's exactly what the special relationship is. You hold my guilt.
Yeah. I know.
I'm gonna, while I'm projecting all over you, I'm gonna be defending myself against you for the attack that I've placed in you. Yeah, that's love.
You gotta laugh, really.
Yeah, you have to, but
that's
yes.
what
So,
the ego terms as human love.
yes.
Human friendships.
Right.
You know?
Yes. And so what is this upset really about, right? If I'm never upset for the reason I think, because I'm thinking it's about Nouk, what is it? You know, it's this guilt in my mind from the belief that I'm separated, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. One problem, one solution, he says. One upset, one solution.
And
Okay.
forgiveness is that one solution.
Okay. Well, let's practice the pause. See if there's anything else that wants to come up and out.
Mm-hmm. I got something.
Great.
Which is tomorrow morning in our next lesson 52.
Yes.
The questions that are being asked now will be answered then.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's great segue.
Thank you.
See, Jesus knows what he's doing. It's so brilliant.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah. A big thank you to Brother Jesus.
Thank you.
And thank you all for being here. And we'll see you for lesson 52. We hope this was helpful. It was for me. Thanks, everybody.
Me too. Bye.